Hello, this is meteorologist Matthew Carter with your forecast that'll start on Saturday, January 31st. So, looking at conditions as of 10 a.m. this morning, at DC we had winds out of the north with a temperature of 16 degrees. Um, Further north into the northeast, we're looking at temperatures also in the teens. In the Midwest, similar temperatures around 14, 16 degrees in Indiana. That's in Fort Wayne and out into um, further south and west in Indiana down to Indianapolis at 13 degrees, Chicago at about 17 degrees. Then looking at areas further south down into Virginia, we see Richmond at about 16 degrees. Um, Further south into North Carolina, temperatures in the mid 20s, with snow observed in much of these regions, with a storm pushing off um, northeast. It's pushing northeast from North Carolina and will move off the ocean. So currently there's some snow in regions of North Carolina, South Carolina, as well as, I believe, some areas of Georgia, with temperatures in the 20s and the 30s in those areas. We have high pressure with extreme cold in the Great Plains around 10 degrees. A cold front stretching off of New Mexico. Um, and temperatures really frigid up in Minnesota with temperatures around -7 degrees. Sort of moving on from the current conditions, or from the conditions as of 10 a.m., let's look at current conditions right now in our area. 19 degrees at Dulles Airport, winds out of the northwest, winds directly out of the north at National Airport with a temperature of 21 degrees. College Park with a temperature of 21 degrees. Gaithersburg, 26 degrees. Frederick, looking at a temperature of 18 degrees. Hagerstown, 18. Looking further south, um, going down into uh, further south, let's look at Richmond with a temperature of 19 degrees. Um, Further south into North Carolina, temperatures around 20 degrees, with snow pushing from towards the northeast from the North Carolina region. Currently, there's observed snow, at least as far north as the North Carolina-Virginia border in many areas, and some of the snow could push into areas of southeastern Virginia. I don't expect them to get a lot, but there could at least be an inch or two, depending on where you are, in areas of southern Virginia and really southeastern Virginia. Um, Potentially a light accumulation of snow in those regions. Um, just moving on from there, looking at current cloud cover. As I mentioned, there's that area of low pressure with that snow along the coast, and you can see a lot of. You can see it's still mostly clear right within the DC DC and north. It's still mostly clear. You can see the snow currently on the ground by um, what's not moving and what's currently observed with that white up in Maryland, Pennsylvania. And then further south, you can see some fairly low level, thick clouds, especially in North Carolina and southern Virginia, that are continuing to push up into the northeast. So we definitely could see more cloud cover as the day progresses, as this storm just gets closer to our area. We won't see any precipitation in the immediate DC area, but likely some clouds will push into the area from the south as the day progresses. Like you can see those low, thick clouds, North Carolina, southern Virginia. And then moving along from there, let's look at some of the temperatures. So, looking at the American model, I just feel like it's gotten temperatures down a bit better and has less extremes that haven't been happening as some other models. So I'll be looking at that first. Um, the American model has a lot of is definitely not the most accurate model and has a lot of issues, especially with the storm tracks, how much snow we're going to get in a lot of situations. But recently with temperatures, it's just been um, some other models have had temperatures at like 0. Well, this one has had, temperatures around 10 degrees and has gotten much more accurate numbers. Um, so looking at temperatures today, likely getting into the low 20s. You can see that strong low pressure system off the coast of North Carolina that's bringing them snow in North Carolina, South Carolina, potentially some regions of Virginia. And you can see that low pressure system, uh, those um, contours here, isobars, separating different pressures. Those black contour lines, as you can see, they get very, as you progress out, they get very concentrated. There gets to be more of them within a very small area, indicating a large change in pressure and very low pressure in the center of this storm, with this storm strengthening. 975 millibar pressure, while on the coast pressures are around 1012, so fairly close to standard pressure, but extremely low pressure um, with that system strengthening off the coast. Then as that system, that pressure gradient will also create winds within our area. As you can see, with that strong pressure gradient, we have about 20 knot winds, 15 to 20 knot winds in the immediate DC area. Likely higher gusts as well. If we can look at wind gusts here. Um, so looking at wind gusts for the immediate future, as you can see, wind gusts 25, 30, at least 30 miles per hour, likely wind gusts um, are potentially possible even in the DC area, despite us not getting impacted by the precipitation just due to the strong gradients in pressure. Moving on from that, um, just sort of going along quickly from there. By Monday, temperatures getting down into the teens with highs in the low 30s. Um, Highs warming again through Tuesday with temperatures in the mid 30s. And then we see winds out of the south on Tuesday. Then we see a wind shift out of the north by Wednesday and cooler air remaining in place. Highs only in the low 30s before temperatures get really cold again on Thursday. Highs only in the 20s. And even for the long-term future, it looks like temperatures will remain very cold. Many days, highs only in the 20s into February. So a significant warm-up really isn't coming. We'll see slightly warmer temperatures later on, um, a few days from now, but temperatures will get colder again even after that. Um, Looking at precipitation here, um, once we get past this system that moves off the coast, it's likely to be dry for at least a few days. Then on Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, there's a potential chance of some snow. This is something to watch out for, and it's not something, um, it's something that there's a lot of disagreement amongst the models about, but it's definitely something to watch out for. And this American model here brings about 3 inches of snow into DC, um, less further south really, and less further north. DC on this model has pretty much for this, I mean, for this snow, one of the larger totals, um, with far less further north and just a bit less further, sorry, far or less further south and just a bit less further north. Um, Looking at this sort of um, snow system with some rain further south, really, and some warmer air, but snow in the immediate DC area, according to this model, with this system pushing out off from the Midwest into the East Coast and then just sort of moving off the coast. It's a very weak system and wouldn't bring us a lot of snow, but if it's cold, what falls could stick. Um, and looking at um, So we saw those totals about 3 inches on the American model, but looking at the European, it's really not bringing much snow at all. So this is something we're not very certain of at this time. Looking at the NAM, which doesn't really run far out enough, but it's close, and you can see it looks like the there will be some snow pushing into our region on this most recent NAM model run, but we can't really see exactly what'll happen yet. on this model, given that it only runs to 0Z or 7 p.m. about Tuesday night, the 0Z Wednesday. But we can see that it's likely some precipitation and potentially snow would push in later on Wednesday night or Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning, according to this NAM model run, with temperatures on the NAM as well, 32, 29. So in the immediate DC area, it would be cold enough for it to snow as well, according to that model. So it's something we're not very certain of, but um, there's definitely that chance of potential snow um, into the midweek next week. Um, just sort of something to watch out for as of now. Um, it's something that definitely um, you should be aware of and um, for safety measures. If it does happen, um, know that there's the potential for like school closings, delays, things like that, just given snow impacts in our area. But um, yeah, as I said, it's not something not something we're certain of at this point. And it wouldn't be a high impact event. It would just be, well, I guess given snow in our area, it could be pretty high impact event, but it wouldn't be a major storm or anything like that. It would be a fairly weak system, but something that could stick and bring us some snow potentially. Uh, then moving along with the 5-day forecast. Um, so Sunday, we'll see mostly cloudy skies due to that system off the coast. Temperature winds out of the northwest at 15 miles per hour. As I mentioned, wind gusts could potentially be up to 25 to 30 miles per hour. So much higher wind gusts, something to be aware of. A high temperature of 23 and a low of 11 degrees. By Monday, we'll be warming up a bit. Winds out of the northwest, 10 miles per hour. A high of 32 and a low of 15 degrees. And then by Tuesday, we'll continue that warm up. Uh, so warming up through the next few days. Winds out of the west, 5 miles per hour. Partially sunny skies with a high of 36 and a low of 21 degrees for DC. Looking at Wednesday, I put that snow on the forecast. As I mentioned before, it's something we're watching and something to be aware of. Um, uh, but it's still something far out, so it's something that has to be monitored. But there's definitely a decent chance of at least a little snow in our area, likely late Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning. Most of the day Wednesday, however, will be dry. Most likely, I believe mostly cloudy skies after that system does move out. But most of the day will likely be dry. Winds out of the northwest 5 miles per hour. And with those winds shifting back out of the northwest, we'll see temperatures not warm up very much throughout the day, a high of 31 and a low of 27 degrees. By Thursday, mostly sunny skies, winds out of the northwest at 5 miles per hour. Cold air pushing still into our region, a high of 28 degrees and a low of 17 degrees. So we will see temperatures warm up and likely see potentially a day, likely a day, Tuesday, and potentially another day, maybe Monday, above freezing or slightly above freezing. But generally speaking, most days temperatures will remain below freezing and fairly cold conditions remain in our area. And that pattern doesn't really look to change for a fairly long time, as I really showed you longer out into the forecast. We'll just have um, a lot of winds out of the northwest, cold air pushing into our area, um, plenty of cold air in place. So we'll see in the future if that brings more chances of snow once we move on from that Wednesday event. There's some hints of some stuff in the models, but obviously it's nothing we can plan on as of now after that, given uh, how differently models run from day to day and how different each model is to another one. But definitely Wednesday morning is the time to watch out for with that chance of snow. Nothing major, but just something to keep in mind. Thank you so much for watching. Like this channel and subscribe. I really appreciate it.